Yeah.
No. Yeah?
Oh no, I stopped sharing my stream through Discord. I should hopefully be live.
I see that stream star. Oh, I see the YouTube stuff.
Hey, yeah, the YouTube is.
Do it.
It's very sensible, but let's do it.
Okay. Can you hear anybody but me? And that means that Brandon and or Naka are going to have to talk. Or you could talk.
I'm not going to talk. Am I coming through? Are we on?
No, not hearing anyone at the moment. I don't know how much is the delay though.
Okay. Can you hear me though?
See the screen.
It's all of us, yeah. Can you hear me at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all coming through. It's on a delay, but I think we're live now.
But can you hear yourself?
Yes.
Yes?
I heard me and I heard Giorgio.
Okay. So I think that means I've got my stream audio stuff set up in a way that's
we're live right now.
just kind of working. Okay. Welcome to the at least one person that will show up to this special 2 weeks holiday stream as we try to figure out how to make this work so that we can do it better in 2025. But for now,
so we already have Alexis in the chat who's saying that he can hear us.
Phenomenal. So we'll do this stream and then hopefully more next year. But stay tuned for how this all goes horribly wrong. Happy holidays, everybody. I see that they're Christmas sweaters for everybody except for Naka, which, you know, good excuse being in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'm actually having to turn on my air conditioning. This is something Giorgio and I talked about. I was like, I'm wearing one, but I'm going to have to turn on my air conditioning so that I can wear one because it is, it's like 70, 72 degrees here in New Orleans. It's nice and warm.
Yeah, I got some proper. Oh, it looks like it just stopped. I did have proper snow out the window here in New York. Last Wednesday.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the. I'm trying to get my windows ready here, and I'm looking at the Epic Store game of the day because it looks like they got a new one up. Astria, 6-sided oracles. Is that something to do with dice? Curious if it looks like it too. Sorry, I shouldn't be talking about somebody else's games. It is a dice deck building roguelike that flips the script on deck builders by using dice instead of cards. And it looks cool. And it's free. I'm getting it. And then I'm closing this so that I can focus on our stream. Man, I am so short timing right now. My brain is like, you're on vacation already. I'm like, no, technically not.
Yeah. We have the last obligation of the year. Speaking of, congrats to everybody on a successful year getting this company off the ground.
Oh my gosh.
I'm super appreciative of everybody who's on this call and everybody who's not on this call who also it's been a pretty big roller coaster for us, I think. We started the company kind of midway through the year we've shipped a bunch of games. We've shipped one every month for the entire duration of the year since we started. We made a bunch of cool stuff. We met a bunch of cool people along the way through the team. It's been really special. I've been, especially getting to the holidays, and you get in that sort of reflective mood about how things are going, and I just am super appreciative for everybody who's kind of joined in to help start us on this journey.
Yes, I agree with everything Brandon has said or thought in his life.
Surely that's not true.
It's close to it.
We do have a shorthand generally, which is that Foggy and I have worked together for a really long time and know how each other thinks really well. And so when one of us posits a position on something, the typical response is just same brain. Our brains produce exactly the same output. And it's the same thing.
Which is good that we have some different brained folks on the team now. It's nice getting feedback from other folks about where we might not be on the right track. Are we doing intros or anything like that? I feel like Brandon and I have already talked a fair bit. Giorgio, do you want to do an intro?
Of course. Hello everyone, I'm Giorgio. I make beeps and boops, and yeah, that's me.
The sweet track that you're listening to right now, since Giorgio did the humblest version of his intro, is the track that Giorgio put down for Vapor Solitaire. And I could listen to this on a loop forever, and did quite a bit of during Vapor Solitaire development. Also has a lot of pretty big, awesome games that you've worked on. Notorious, the most recent and notorious is Baldur's Gate 3 was some of your handiwork, right? Do you want to brag specifically about what you did on that, or you just want to leave it at Baldur's Gate 3? It's a big game.
Well, I made the cat. The cat was our cat, and so when you transform into the white cat, that's our cat. Actually, it's a bunch of cats. That's a secret. We couldn't get the cat to do all the range of the cat sound that it needs to do. So it's a bunch of cat sounds. It's different cats. It's one library cat, but most is house family cats doing their thing.
That is like some exclusive information. I've never heard that in anything that I've heard about Baldur's Gate 3, and so that's very exciting. You heard it here first, folks.
It makes me very happy that the cats were uncooperative enough that you could actually just record one cat who's a pro at doing Foley.
There is a heartbreaking story, especially for the attacking cat, which is Gastone, our old cat. And he used to be the boss of the guard. He used to go down, super old cat, and would go down, and every other cat around, all the prey would stay around, and then, as the story goes, the old cat becomes a little bit too old to maintain the territory and everything. They would go down, smell all the other cats, and he would become a little bit angry about that. And when we would pick him up to go up, he couldn't go up the stairs anymore. And so we would pick him up, he would start doing a little bit of a tantrum, and that tantrum is the attack of the cat. It's a little bit heartbreaking, but it really worked well for the game.
I like that you were equipped for the situation, and
yeah, because it was so consistent. We would just pick him up, and then and we would just do that, like every single time. And the third, fourth time I said, I think that there is a use for that. There is, there's a chance at immortality, and we capture that.
Do I have the right image in my head of you carrying a very old cat up the stairs while trying to hold a microphone to him with a pair of headphones on, listening to it?
Partner, hold the cat, and I was with a big pair of headphones with the microphone. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that image.
It's a good one. So that's Giorgio, amazing. And Naka.
Hey, how's it, everybody? I'm Sean, currently located in Hawaii. Yep.
No one wants to brag about themselves.
No one wants to brag about themselves. And then I feel bad, I'm putting people on the spot. But do you have any? You have what's your claim to fame? What's your favorite thing that you've worked on that you like to brag on?
It would be that Independence Day movie game. Although the movie bombed and the game bombed along with the movie, so it was pretty fun.
But it was your favorite thing. You know, it's funny because like I've worked with plenty of people who like they've worked on big, you know, AAA and well-known games and stuff like that. But then they're like, "What's your favorite thing that you worked on?" It's some little obscure thing. I was listening to a podcast earlier this week where somebody's like, "It's this My Little Pony game that I worked on, you know, back in my first game dev job. That's the thing that I'm most proud of because I learned the most, or you know, I understood what it was to be a game developer because I worked on that game for hire, and I was like, I'm gonna make this the best My Little Pony game that ever was." I love stories like that. All right, like Brandon called out, we don't really have an agenda, so I figured we could go through and look at some 2 weeks games. Do you want to do chronological? How do you want to do this?
I think chronological sounds fun to me.
Chronological. Okay, I'm trying to organize things so that I can be chronological. All right, let's jump in this mode. Hopefully that transition's all right. I'm looking at the feed, which is again delayed. So hopefully, oh, there's no audio. Is there audio still? Hopefully. I tried to set this all up right before. All right. You know what? This is displaying not quite the way I want to, but I'm just going to leave it. I don't want to mess with anything too bad right now while we're live. But yeah, there's Homestretch Bet. I'm going to click play on this guy. Hopefully that audio is coming through for folks. I'm not sure if it will or not. So Alexis, since you're our only viewer, you can like let us know if the audio stream breaks on anything, or if you're not getting audio for Homestretch Bet. It's not super loud for me because I have the volume, I think, turned down here fairly low. Oh, but Homestretch doesn't have the slider. We never backported the volume controls.
Yeah, that's right.
This is a pretty big race. Hopefully,
Homestretch predates a lot of the kind of like modern. Since it was the very first game that we built, we didn't have any of the stuff that was sort of reusable across games, and so the later games we sort of like were like, oh, okay, well, we gotta put these sound controls in and have these like common configuration settings and all that kind of stuff, and we implemented all of that for the next game, but haven't yet gone back and that sort of the Homestretch. It's got some classic UI vibe.
I was talking to Brandon about this one the other day, because this is the first thing we did, and we did it so quickly when we were getting the company up off the ground. Release on this predates Speedrun?
Yes, yeah.
Which is pretty wild, because
we put this out right around the same time that we announced the company, which was at the end of July, I think, if I remember correctly.
How do you feel about this one, Giorgio? You blasted out the audio for this guy real quick, and it was the combination of the horse running, the gate busting open, but this track specifically, I think what we talked about was like capturing some fun Nintendo vibes, keeping it kind of like jazzy.
Yeah, we went for like Big Band, and I think it paid off. It was like this interesting, put together a little bit of like Big Gatsby, and then the sound, and then a little bit of the Nintendo vibe, especially with the sound. And it's one of those situations where you have, oh yeah, this sounds cool, and then you're adding also like this other little bit of direction. Yeah, it makes sense, and then you add this little bit of direction, and it's its own thing, and it just fell together also seamlessly. It was pretty fun to work on.
I love this track. This was another one where like just as you were working on the game, especially since we didn't have great audio controls, it would just be going. And you'd just be jamming to it. My kids were always like, "What is that?" Oh man, it's so fun watching these horses. We Brandon and I were talking about the other day. It's like we could do so much better than we did. Like the engine has grown so much. We both understand what we're doing, and some of the different aspects of the engine have come so much further along. Like, boy, it was like a House of Cards for this one, but like the UX tools have gotten so much better that like I could build the UX now instead of Brandon had to do everything in the first one for like getting the UX working, and I could probably do. I feel like I could do 90% of homestretch bet now without support. Because of how much better I understand what it is that we're doing. Also, probably could have done a lot better on the Blender assets. Although, one fun thing about this was the track. Blender has that what's it called, geometry nodes system, and so this track, completely unnecessary because it's only ever one size. But the way we built it, it's all modular, like, and like you could resize variables and like change the track size dynamically, and it would just kind of rebuild everything as you change sizes on stuff, which is pretty cool. And then of course it's a fixed size track. We didn't need any of that shit. Sorry, stuff. We didn't need any of that stuff. My language. I need to be in streamer mode. I got too casual. Apologies, but the stream does say it's not for children. I'm just trying to stay on brand.
Yeah, you know, the stuff has definitely come a long way, but I also I'm still pretty happy with, like, considering how kind of many missing pieces of the puzzle that we have. Like, our ability to still make a pretty complete game experience is a point of pride for me, for sure. Like, I still actually think, you know, I think the thing that we learned from this is that, like, you know, we made a fairly complicated game. Like, we've told this story before, but the backstory on Homestretch is. I had been working on this engine for making web games for a long time with kind of the aspiration of rapid prototyping, that kind of stuff. And Foggy motivated me to turn it into, you know, to basically co-found the company with him by essentially pitching a game to me that he knew would specifically appeal to my narrow interests. So that I would work on making the engine more usable for multiple people, so that he could get in there and make games with me. And specifically, the narrow interests he was tapping into was my love for Japanese horse racing simulators, which are these awesome, like, if you go to a Japanese arcade that has one of these, there's like a giant screen and then a bunch of booths that you can sit at, where you have your own screen and like you have your own horses and you can train them and you can enter them in the races, and it has all of the statistical complexity of like any kind of management simulator type game, combined with all the complexity of normal horse betting, which is like very arcane. And so Foggy's pitch is like this really clever intersection of Texas Hold'em with a sort of like horse race betting game. But like and it's like, I love it. I could sit there playing it all day long. But it's kind of complex, right? Like it's you gotta reason about a Texas Hold'em game that's playing, and then also think through like horse positions and stats and a bunch of other criteria, which is a little too high a bar, I think, for kind of like what we now believe makes for a good web game, which is like you got to get in there and be having fun and playing and understand what's going on instantly. But there's still a lot of magic in this game, and you know, it's probably one that at some point in the future we'll return to kind of build on, because I think we have some ideas for how to kind of streamline the flow and get people into it a little bit better. But I think it's actually pretty compelling.
It is. You know what I want to do with it now? Like, I still love a lot of our original ideas to have it be all networked multiplayer, so that everybody's looking at the same game and we're kind of doing a constant broadcast. That's still my fantasy for where it ends up. But I do think it would be cool to, one, simplify the heck out of the stats, because like if you look at these individual, I wasn't paying enough attention to the timing. Hold on, I'll show we'll get there in a second. Let's let these horses run. All right. So here comes the river. Okay, so that's too many stats. It's too many stats for you to care about. I think at most 1 or 2 stats you can care about per horse, right? For exactly what you're saying, because it's just too hard to reason about what's going to be happening there. But then I want to do a daily game with it, right? Like, there's going to be one race, and you know, you're going to get to see one race and bet on one race as it goes through. And people will cheat the same way, you know, people cheat on everything. But I don't care. Do they have fun? And, you know, are you competing with yourself? Because, I don't know, if somebody has multiple accounts and they want to see what the simulation looks like and then go make the best bets possible, go ahead. But I think it would be fun to have, like, there's a race today. How are you gonna bet? But I do think that simplifying the race, being consistent probably with the number of horses that are in the race, because right now it's extremely variable. We can have as few as 4 and as many as 12, and that's pretty wild. A 4-horse race is kind of easier to reason about. A 12-horse race is like next to impossible.
Yeah.
But
I
much
still
more
like
fun to
some of
watch.
the original ideas that we had that sort of were out of scope for the initial prototype. And we didn't really have the infrastructure for it at the time. We kind of do now, though, which would be to sort of like have a kind of simulcast broadcast of the race with all of the players who are currently online, so that they can all be watching and betting alongside each other.
So cool.
I think that would still be a really fun format for this.
All right, let's get serious and watch this last race and actually bet on it, and then we'll move on to our next game.
All right, well, I think starting with the time delay, it's all on you.
Yeah, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win big time.
Yeah. Good.
Because you just get the delay, I get to see it live. Yeah. All right, yeah, I forget about that. To have a tactical advantage. All right, this is looking like quite a few horses in this one. All right, we've got, looks like 9 horses. Nobody has pocket pair out of the gate. So I'm gonna vote for one of, I'm gonna put a bet on one of the freckle horses to win. They have a king and a 5 and decent stamina. Best stats. Maybe Majestic Abyss here, so I'm gonna give them a second place nod. Here we go. They are off and hauling ass. Or, gosh darn it. I really gotta, I should stop swearing in real life. It's funny because, like, my son swears like a sailor. And my daughter does not. They're both around me the same amount. All right. So the horse that I thought had great stats is actually way out in front. Well, not way out in front. Got a healthy lead. But Stealth Parade is rocking a pair of kings. And so is Oceanic Tinker. I'm going to give Oceanic Tinker a third place nod. But still, I'm curious how the rest of these hands develop here. We got like a front runner and then a pretty big pack right behind them.
Shout out to your procedural name generator. But yeah, I still think these horse names are very fun. I learned actually when doing research for this game why horses have such weird names. It's because they follow the same rules as Hollywood actors, which is that there can be no duplicates. Like, so if any horse name has ever been used for an officially registered horse that races, then it's no longer eligible for any future horse to have. And so the names have gotten more obscure and baroque over time as a result.
I just don't feel like there have been like enough horses for it to get too like as weird as it has gotten though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a cultural thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, once that becomes the rule and you start having to put weird names on it, then it becomes the aesthetic to put a weird name on a horse, right?
I mean, has there been like a champion racehorse named Bob? I feel like that can't be true.
Well, it doesn't have to be a champion racehorse. It just has to be any racehorse.
Oh, a racehorse, right, that gets registered. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I got a bet here. I don't know.
Equidate.com or search. I can answer these questions for you.
Majestic Abyss is still way out front. All right, I threw some more chips down. Here we go. Oceanic Tinker got a big. Oh my goodness, they got a big boost. They're coming on hot, very big. They just took the lead. They're gonna blow everybody else out of the water. Boom, Oceanic Tinker. And then like here, like this ending bit, I would put so much more juice on it as horses are crossing the line and messing around with camera stuff and slowing down the simulation. Yeah, we'll come back to this game sometime, hopefully this year, and really punch it up. We did pretty good. Got some chips. All right.
Are you profitable?
I mean, since it cost me $0 and I made fictional points, yes. Let's say yes. All right. Shall we move on to our next game?
Yeah.
So technically, our next game is not Long Weekend. Vapor Solitaire. We'll get the music going and everything. And I have volume controls, so I can dial this one in. And this actually has gameplay, so all right. Now we get to see how bad I am at solitaire. I spent no time practicing, so this is not going to go quickly. But it's also multiplayer. Multiplayer with a delay, but multiplayer nonetheless. So y'all can help me. Oh, we got an ace.
I think what you should try to do is stack up all the cards in sequence. Helpful.
Super useful advice. All right, I don't think I have any more plays here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think I'm in a bugged state.
Oh, did you get the freezing issue? There is a bug that I haven't quite tracked down yet. I think it's actually like an animation that doesn't complete, which puts the game in a hung state.
That may be what happened. I'm gonna go ahead and restart. Too bad I was actually doing okay for once. Fresh deal. I do like having an ace out of the gate to play with. Oh, and I can drop that too as well. I'm frozen again. I'm gonna restart it one more time. I think it might be more of a perf issue. I stopped running home stretch bet in the background. All right.
Are you playing locally or in a browser?
Oh, I'm in a browser. Browser style. All right. This is nowhere near as good as the hands that I had before. Get some stuff moving though. Let's see. Move that 7. Now. Starting to move. The question is, can I complete the whole thing before we get frustrated and it's not interesting anymore? Brandon, tell the story of how Vapor Solitaire was our second game instead of KDC.
Yeah. So, we try and make games very quickly. One of the challenges that we have there is that we're also building our own engine at the same time. And, there are actually advantages there because we're building an engine that is designed around rapid prototyping and building gameplay quite quickly. But, game engines in the long arc of time are huge and have tons of features. And so with every project, we encounter at least a couple of things that we need that we haven't built yet. So Kaiju Defense Club was, we were really excited about it as our next project because we wanted to make an arcadey multiplayer game that felt like a really good fit for the web. But that meant that you had to build a bunch of multiplayer infrastructure, and multiplayer is actually quite challenging to get right for over the open internet. And so we were kind of coming up on our original timeline that we had given ourselves for Kaiju, and it didn't look like we were going to make it. But we didn't want to not release a game on that schedule. And coincidentally, for Homestretch Bet, we had, it has a Texas Hold'em game that's going on, and so we had built a nice little library that could deal out cards and animate them. And my little unit test for the card library just dealt out a hand of solitaire. And just to make sure I could get the animation timings right, and that all the transitions looked good, and they stacked it in 3D right, and all that kind of stuff. And so at the last minute, we were like, "Do you think we could get Solitaire out?" And I spent a couple of days on it and made it interactive and implemented the rule set and that kind of stuff, and we were able to kind of ship it on the original schedule that we got Kaiju out. And it's been surprising for us because it's actually been quite popular, right? Like kind of the positioning that we backed into almost accidentally was finding that people love Solitaire. A lot of people fell in love with Solitaire with Windows 3.1 or Windows 95 because it came pre-installed on their computers, and it was a good way to ignore the work that you were supposed to be doing on the PC that you got it doesn't exist installed by default on Windows anymore. And if you go download either like the Microsoft version of Solitaire or any of the other versions on the web, and there are a ton of them, it's just been the nature of sort of like online web games over time that they just become festooned with a million advertisements, or they have like progression systems built into them that are trying to incentivize repeat play, and so it's just like there's a lot of stuff that's just like in the way of the like pure experience of playing Solitaire, which is like it's a great kind of zoning out type game. We realized that what we had made was like a very relaxing, chill version of Solitaire. Business strategy would be referred to as like counter positioning, right? It's like there's sort of like a prevailing market trend, and then you do something that differentiates yourself from the rest of it. But the reality, I think, is that what people want out of Solitaire is just to play Solitaire with none of the fuss or the stuff out of the way. And so Vapor Solitaire has been actually doing pretty well for us in terms of usage and retention and engagement and all those kinds of things. And so we put some more love into it over time, including like fixing a bunch of bugs that I shipped with the rule set in the initial version of the game. But Giorgio put some beautiful music in there. Adeline made some really nice color palettes and cards. We have this like nice kind of like caustic water ripple thing that's happening underneath. It's still not what I would consider complete. Like we'd love to do some stuff like play some the thing that is most missing from my perspective is when you finish a game of Solitaire, like you should get a nice animation, right? Like there's the classic old school bouncing cards from the like Windows version of Solitaire. And everybody has their own kind of riff on it. Really feel like we need some kind of treatment like that in order for it to really sing. But it's already quite relaxing to play, and also it plays really well on the phone too, which was a nice way to kind of further improve our engine. We hadn't built anything that was designed to run on phones before this, but now most of our games come out of the box with mobile support.
I'm sure I'm frustrating people with my bad Solitaire play right now.
Well, that's a popular advertisement technique for games these days, right? Is like
show how bad
somebody frustratingly do the thing that that they shouldn't, so that you're like, I gotta go play that game and do it the right way. So,
but they wouldn't get this deal, so we got to have the seeds got to show up so that somebody can take this seed. Oh no, somebody jumped into the call, which completely borked our formatting. So Nat jumped in, which is great, except that the way I'm cheating this stuff to work, it's now like I've got half of Giorgio on one thing and half Brandon. It's like a weird kind of like.
We can tag team for a bit, so I can leave the spot to Nat.
Yeah, and then jump back in.
Yeah, of course.
As long as exactly 4 people are on our Discord call, it'll work.
Perfect. Okay. In this case, if you need a 4th, call me in. Cheers,
all
everyone.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you, Giorgio. Happy holidays.
Hey, Giorgio. Happy holidays.
It'll be good having Nat in here for when we get to Pogo as well.
For sure.
Which I mean, based on the way this hand is going, we might just want to keep moving. Oh no.
Well, I'd be curious. Do you have any emerging thoughts about Vapor? Like now that we've had it out for a while, digesting it. Anything that you want to do with it?
I do want to get a little bit more daily game with it. You know, we've been having conversations around, you know, Vapor as a successful experiment, but also just some of my personal interest has kind of started leaning in that direction. I love some of the things that folks are doing in the daily game space. In particular, shout out to another company that's killing it in this space, but the Puzzmo folks, Zach Gage's thing that they got going on, it's just really cool. They're similarly pumping out a lot of cool little experiments. Well, I don't know if they think of them as experiments, but like they're certainly new games, fun little like I forget what it's called, but it's like there's a poker grid one. There's like a 4x4 grid, and now I think they added a 5x5. They've got word puzzles. They're really good at those kinds of things. Like they kill it, and they're really easy to pick up. They're really easy to play, and you kind of knock them out real quick, and then you kind of keep moving, right? Super fun to play. So yeah, I think with Vapor, I'd love to get a lot more accessibility options in there. Right now, Vapor on the phone plays with pretty well if you're like a left-handed player, or like you play with your phone in your left hand. Not necessarily that you're left-handed. I tend to phone in my left hand, even though I'm right-handed, and that's great because the stack is oriented over here. It's pretty easy to get to, but like I've played some stuff that has a right-handed orientation. I'm like, oh, I hate this. And I was like, oh, somebody who's plays with their phone in their right hand might not like Vapor. So I'd love to throw in an option to change how the Tableau stuff is set up.
Yeah.
I'd love to add a lot of like little options for accessibility and readability on the cards. You know, we're doing a pretty classic card thing right here, but I could see doing, you know, big letter, big symbol, so that people can really easily have that stuff pop, in particular on the phone. And then I'd love to get into some variants. I actually like Spider Solitaire more than I like Klondike, mainly because I don't have to fret about the color. So I'd love to get some more variations. I'd love to keep working on those style of games and see what are kind of fun stuff. We should do card backs.
Yeah,
and I love our vaporwave aesthetic with the sort of caustic water, but I could see doing other background themes. I could see doing themes that go along with card backs, so we could do a holiday mode. I know this isn't like I would love to do little 3D things floating by, little tchotchkes and whatnot. Nothing distracting, and all still maintaining a chill thing, but like one of the if you like, say you have a twin setup and you get into account stuff, I'd love to see your twin go by like on an inner tube. Stuff like that.
Yeah, actually, my original conception for this was that it would be like a koi pond or something that you were playing on, and so like I was imagining like fish swimming through and like little flowers floating in the water, and when you place the cards, having little ripples animate underneath of them and that kind of stuff. Like I feel like we could do that kind of stuff, and then getting into variants on that theme is cool as well for sure.
Phenomenal. People have probably been yelling at me to do the move that I just did for the longest time. So hold on. Let's see if I can.
How is this version of Solitaire? Solitaire plus performance anxiety.
Oh, I don't have performance anxiety. Not for this. Right. Not for this. If people are judging me on my ability to play Solitaire, that's man, I've got some news for them. Prepare yourself for disappointment.
I do like a lot of the stuff you're saying, I think speaks to me. Like I'm increasingly like I actually think daily games in general have moved in a pretty positive direction in terms of like kind of design philosophy for puzzle games. I feel like the kind of prevailing trends are to just give the players the tools they need to play the way that they
Yeah.
want to. Right, like hint systems that not just show you possible moves, but also explain why those moves are valid, so you can learn a technique that you can use in the future. So maybe you're less dependent on the hints going forward, but like you're always able to get all the way through. It's never penalizing you for stuff. And I think that the stuff that you're speaking to about just sort of customizing the experience to fit your preferences is like totally in line with that. I like the spirit of that a lot.
Yeah.
And the thing for me it really makes me want to do is make more classic games. Like these are, by the nature of our engine being designed for rapid prototyping, classic games, especially ones that have sort of like well-established designs, are pretty fast for us to implement. And I think that we just like, have a good sense for game feel and visual polish and all those kinds of things. And so I think it's easier for us to put out really nice versions of classic games than maybe it would be in normal circumstances. And I think there's a lot of people out there who just like love Solitaire or love Minesweeper or whatever, and making a nice version of that on the web is I think a unadulterated good.
Yeah, like absolutely agree. I'm already having a better time with this deal here. I think rather than watch me struggle through Solitaire, which I'm bad at, maybe we switch to our next chronological game here, which is right.
Yeah, Kaiju was next. And multiplayer stuff figured out.
Should I make a new lobby? Do you want to play with me?
Yeah, hit me up with the link and I'll join.
All right, so I'm gonna launch this. Wait, how do I get the code again? Oh, do I just copy the URL?
There's a button. There should be a button.
I don't see the button. That's why I was looking for the button to copy the URL. But I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna patch it into our dev channel, so anybody that is in there right now that wants to jump in can jump in.
I think it's a bug, but there should be a little copy link button.
There should be a thing, right? Okay.
This is working now.
This is another one, and I know Giorgio took off, but man, oh man, this one slaps. It's super good.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when we were talking about the influences for this, like I remember his specific description of the music was wall of guitars.
Wall of guitars. Give me 2 seconds. I'm due for a wardrobe change. While we wait for people to stack up here.
Do you have a mission going, Foggy?
I haven't started it yet.
Oh, okay. We're hanging out with Sean.
Oh wait, no. You're all in mine.
We're in your lobby.
Oh, yes. Oh, I don't have a mission. Yes.
Oh, and that's actually where the copy link button is.
Right. Okay. So we're ready to go?
I think we're ready to rock.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's you now. Oh my gosh. I love this game. Hungry, I remember when we were conceptualizing it was, multiplayer Hungry Hippos.
Yeah.
I guess Hungry Hippos is already multiplayer, but like, look at this chaos. And it's, we got it on Discord.
Yeah, anybody says this is an activity, you can install it on your own server.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Get points, play with your friends. Just,
I gotta say this is working pretty well given how geographically distributed we are. This is being posted in Hawaii and the deterministically simulated. And I got a little bit of latency, but it feels pretty good.
So, unfortunately, from a balance standpoint, what I discovered is the best way to play multiplayer if you're trying to get high scores is to have one player grab all of the bonuses.
Yeah, because it distributes. Does more bonuses for more players.
And what'll end up happening is once you've stacked a certain number of the other bonuses, it stops giving you like increased hook size and speed after a bit because like at some point it's just too much. And then all of your extra bonuses will go into other stuff like, mainly damage, which is what you care about the most, but like shot speed, all of that stuff. So you eventually get to the point where that one player is generating so much damage that when you get to the boss, they just unload. And so you end up with this really massive score because of how well you handled the boss.
That we can do some good work here. I see Adeline's in the chat. Adeline's our illustrator and graphic designer, and she's saying she has so many regrets with making this in pixel. It's funny because I think we assumed that doing pixel art for this was going to be like a major speed up, but the challenge with pixel art is that it's harder to iterate on. I still think it looks pretty good.
I love it. Yeah, I think it looks cool.
That looks great. It's actually my first time playing multiplayer.
Single player is a more pure kind of score chase. What a mess. Got him. Cleaned our plate, though. Look at that. Overall. But we're all winners.
It's so funny to me when Foggy gets the highest score on a game that he designed. Never not fun with me.
You're gonna do one more round and then we'll
Launch it?
Yeah.
Launch it. What'd you do wrong?
It was mission in progress. I think I left and joined at a bad time. I didn't actually make it into the next match.
Oh, you're in here, but you're doing the thing where you're just shooting at the center the whole time. Which is also beneficial to us because we still get the extra.
Yeah, the extra perks. Yeah.
We get all the extra resources with no competition for them.
Yeah, let's see if you'll do better with me as a zombie player than with me as an actual.
We did. So we do a little bitty bit of the Dark Souls thing where like things get harder. Like each of the mobs all have more health by a multiplier, not a huge one. So like a strategy for playing this game would be to set it up with like 4 things, have them all in there, but only one person is playing, and get the craziest high scores that you can.
Probably the optimum strategy has 4 players and only one of them grabs the top reps, right? And the others are still trying to be productively like doing damage and stuff. I know Adeline was talking about how the pixel stuff was maybe hard, but I think it looks so cool like this. And there's something fun for me about the box 2D physics interactions. Mm-hmm. And how it looks like kind of all getting scooped up into that hook. I think it looks so neat. Yeah, I mean, Box 2D has this, because it's a 2D simulation, they can tune it a little bit more precisely to be just more physically accurate than sort of like a traditional 3D physics simulation. And so like the textural quality of the physical interactions is really high. without any, without too much tuning on our part. It looks really solid.
Oh my
Actually,
gosh,
that's
that was
one of the cool things about Kaiju is that it's a nice hybrid of sort of like modern 2D physics and classic pixel art. We put a lot of effort into making sure that the pixel art actually like stayed at the correct scale and doesn't have a lot of like resolution dependent rotational stuff like that. So it just looks like a classic game, but it feels a little bit more like a more modern physicsy game.
all right. I'm out of gas.
Yeah, me too.
We're not being efficient about grabbing cores, and now we're. Oh man, I don't think this score is going to be as high as the last one at all.
Still muted me after all.
Turns out, yeah, I think this is going to be kind of low scoring. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, that was a good one. All right. What's?
End it.
Yeah, go ahead and end it. So next, unless I'm misremembering, was the twin editor.
Right. Let's see.
Is that right? That's right.
I think that's right.
Because it was twin editor, then cheese chase,
Yep.
then long weekend, then pogo sticky.
Yep.
And I mean, this one was pretty. As far as experiments go, very much in the experiment space. Creating an editor for our twins, and boy, oh boy, you know what I'm hurting for right now is more assets on these guys. I think that'll be fun. I can't this isn't even all the hairs we actually have, right? Because we randomize and there's more available hairs, but I don't have access to them here. So clearly we need to add. We need to add.
Yeah, this is a pretty old build.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's newer than this even if we run it locally. Like I think we literally just haven't pushed a newer build.
I wonder if that's it.
Yeah, even the model too is that's when it had the separate head too.
Oh yeah, look at that. This is so old. What are we doing? What are we even doing? Brandon.
Well, I'm just curious.
You're gonna push it. Do it live.
Yeah.
Push a build.
Oh, we did resize the character, so it's gonna be.
Oh, that's true.
You know what? Let's see what happens. Brandon, nobody's playing the twin editor right now. There's no reason to. Let's go for the entertainment factor on the stream here.
Let me just locally. I'm gonna test it to make sure it doesn't just straight up crash.
Okay, that's fair. That's a reasonable thing.
But let me test. I tell you what. I'll keep y'all in suspense. I'll test it locally. And then.
And I will just.
Do you want to talk about sort of the motivations for this?
Yeah. So one of the things that we want to do, big picture wise, is experiments in the vein of Long Weekend, if folks are familiar with that, where we have avatar-centric 3D games where people can, run around and do stuff. In the context of Long Weekend, it's going to be camping. We've got some fishing going on that maybe we'll take a look at later. And just kind of wanted it to be the case that you could do a stylized representation of, the character that you want to be running around in this world. So we built the editor to get set up for that. And Long Weekend, no, that's not true. Cheese Chase was the first manifestation of a game that used our 3D avatars. Long Weekend is a little bit closer to what we want to do, and have the characters running around and doing interactions and whatnot. So we're still a ways out, I think, from fully realizing the potential of these twins and having a lot of customization options and all the other stuff that we're going to be doing there. But that's the plan. This is another one where, Giorgio did some interesting, fun stuff with the audio.
Yeah, he did some very experimental things with it.
Yeah.
It was fun to implement because he gave me a bunch of audio cues for like sounds for like when you click on UI elements and things like that. But they're all part of the score of the music. So like as you're manipulating stuff, you're getting a little bit of a sort of dynamic score from the interactions
Yeah.
that you put together.
Super cool, right? Like you get these little, you know, chimes, and like every time you hit something, there's a little something going on. I think that's really fun. So
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think we'd all want to keep tweaking the overall kind of like tone of the music because it has a sort of ethereal, mysterious kind of thing that's maybe not totally like customize your avatar vibes, but that style of like playful UI that interacts with the music, I think is actually really compelling.
really cool. One of the things that I'm really happy about here is the ridiculous volume of colors that we've
It's
got.
funny that you're happy about that because that is probably the single hardest performance optimization problem I've had to deal with in the 6 months we've worked at this company.
Yeah, what a pain in the butt that was, right?
And it's still not done. It still needs some further optimization, but it's usable. But it is a lot of colors. I think that's
It's a lot of colors. These shoes are very shiny. It's funny because like the model is totally different now, and I think that's the other thing we did is like a material pass and like tone down the how reflective, like these shoes look like they're made out of like they look like they were like 3D printed from that shiny stuff, and they've still got that sheen to them. But yeah, look at it's so cool that this is Naka. Was this the first thing for you? It's like jump in, we're doing this editor, go.
Yeah,
It was,
that was
right?
like the first week. I was like, okay, let's go.
I'll tell you the thing that blows my mind about this one was you got onboarded onto the team, and we were basically like, build us a 3D model. And we've iterated on it, but it was basically like, take a swag at building it. We've got some style stuff that we were playing around with. And you were like, okay, go time. And you built it and had some really good tech art stuff that got into the mix at the same time. That was, I think, pretty challenging. The material setup so that we could have the different color choices go to the right part of the model. And getting all of this stuff built out, you did it so fast. This is funny that we never came back and updated this because this is all the original very first model. And
Yeah.
I guess it speaks to the fact that not very many people are jumping into this particular experience, that nobody called us out on how busted everything is.
Yeah. So the whole intent for this, I think, is for it to be integrated into the future games directly. So like that in long weekend when you're getting set up,
it's just there.
You could create an avatar and associate it with your account and go through this UI. And so I think we've kind of deferred on making the standalone editor up to date, but I feel bad about it.
I do think so many things in this are kind of just borked relative to some of the changes that we've made. It's kind of cool looking at this though, realizing that we haven't updated it because how much better I think everything looks in long weekend. And I still think there's more stuff that we would like to do to improve the quality and add more options for fit and things like that. But yeah, it's making me appreciate the work that we've done since. How's that build coming? I'm not going to vent for 10 minutes.
Updating modules and stuff and running into some little refactoring things that need to be tweaked, but I'm still working on it.
Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do though, because I'm running out of gas on just spinning the model around. I'm going to jump into the next thing, which is Cheese Chase.
Nice.
All right. So flip over to Cheese Chase. Uh, this was a fun one. Building out the front end stuff. Because I think this is the first time that I really. No, I did dive a little bit onto doing UI, UX stuff for Long Weekend and learned a fair bit there. The stuff I had done for KDC was pretty minimal. The stuff I did for the twin editor really helped me understand, like, oh, okay, this is kind of how things work. There's a lot of compositional stuff that we do because we're using the is it Flexbox.
Mm-hmm.
The way that stuff works is it, can be a lot to wrap your head around, but like once you start to adapt to its paradigms, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with it. You just kind of have to know where everything is. So I built the front end for this one with assets that Adeline built. I kind of want to make another new run because one of the things I'm proud of on this was the fake shadow on the scroll bar. Because you were like, Adeline wants this shadow thing. I haven't figured out how I want to do it yet. Blah blah blah. And I was just like, well, man, I'm just gonna fake it. And so I built like this is just like an overlay sitting on top of this that fits squarely into it that uses the 9 slice and just sits in it like a little tray. Very proud of myself. All right, Cheese Chase. Another really fun little music bit. So if y'all don't know how Cheese Chase works, it works like bocce or lawn bowling. Any of these other, you like set the point, set the target that you're trying to get to, and then try to get as close as you can to it. So the way that you do that is you throw out this wheel of cheese, which sounds like a cartoon wheel of cheese, kind of going down the hill. There's no way I'm reaching that. It is way too far. I'm going to reset this point. Actually, no, I'll go with it. There's no way I'll reach it, though. You see the point is way out there, so we're going to say create. That locks it in. And so now, point way down that hill. Ready up. And then I'm going to run and jump. This was all inspired. Oh my gosh, what a train wreck. Oh, I'm going to get close. Not quite. This was all inspired by, I forget the name of the village, but there's this spot where they roll a wheel of cheese down a hill and people run after it. And the first person to get down that hill wins that wheel of cheese. So enjoy the wheel of cheese.
If anyone's curious what the official event is, it's the Cooper's Hill Cheese Rolling and Wake. And in this case, I only know wake to mean a funeral, so like I don't know if I don't think there are any confirmed fatalities from the event. Like I do think people get injured in it.
Oh yeah, like annually. It's like running of the bulls bad in terms of like fetching injuries. So there are.
That was pretty good though. I mean, not close enough for points, but solid.
I'm gonna try to run it again. Oh wait, what's this? Oh, my list got kind of mixed up. I think I can land this one. Let's see. Oh, I way undersold that one. Oh, but we're sliding. I'm gonna get points for this at least. Something's busted here. We've had some rot happen. You see how it says nil for these scores? Is it supposed to say nil?
I don't think so.
Presumably not. But now it's got me in there. And then we're going to get a JavaScript console exception. So nobody's been playing Cheese Chase. Shame on us all.
Well, I think actually probably what's going on is, Cheese Chase pushed for a bunch of leaderboard stuff. But then we went and backported it into Kaiju, and Kaiju has really nice leaderboards. I'm wondering if we broke something along the way that retroactively messed up Cheese Chase.
Yeah. I think that's what happened. I'm going to redo this one. That's really far as well. I'm gonna redo this guy again. I'm trying to get it right in this little rock formation that we've got here. This is gonna miss too. Man, going wide. Oh, it's going all the way. Didn't there used to be a gate? There used to be a gate on the front of this guy.
Yeah, there was a gate.
What happened to the gate? the gate got gone. Oh no. Okay, so now I need Giorgio to come back. Yes. Come back, Giorgio. Fix my formatting. I promise I will have a more professional stream set up the next time we do this so that it's not heavily dependent on the order in which people come into our Discord channel. Are you back, Giorgio? Do you have thoughts on the Cheese Chase music and audio setup?
It was a difficult one because it was super easy to just go completely crazy. I remember that one of the direction was a hybrid between correct me if I'm wrong, but the direction was a hybrid between Vangelis and Yakety Sax.
Yes.
And then it was like this very, it was writing incredibly two different things, like, Zen on one end, like just reaching out for the sky, and on the other end, like this super funny thing. And I think that it probably was the hardest game of all to try and find something that eventually kind of fit it's called the Samarzano. It's like the in Italian it's kind of going on, but making it sound super big. Like so, there's this it's super silly, but then you make it kind of epic, and all the things around that is like made around that type of thing. How can we make something super silly, epic in a way, and it kind of and it blended there.
So the Vangelis thing originally it was like wanting something a bit like Chariots of Fire, the epic start and how everything is going to be amazing here, and then the Yakety Sats silly bit. And I wonder now, looking at it, if we could have like teased them apart a little bit and had it be like during this, like everything you're preparing, that's got the Vangelis, here we're gonna go, and then when you launch, we could have switched. That might have worked, but this is like it's silly. And then originally,
funny video and stuff.
Yeah, originally when we were doing tests, it wasn't the twin models. It was just this kind of red, red,
right.
Yeah, and it was a red humanoid. And I remember when we switched to it being the twins model, everybody was like, "Oh no, now I feel bad." And I think we fixed it a little bit by instead of having the audio be painful and like crashing into stuff.
Yes.
You set us up with kind of these rubber ball bouncing impacts, and it sounds like rubber even when you're kind of sliding across the ground. Oh, that's going to be a good score.
So of course, they're not getting hurt at all.
Right.
It's all fun for them just to roll down the hill and smack.
They thanks cross.
Everything is great. All right.
What's cool is when you're launching them, you can rotate the camera.
Oh, I'll do that this time.
Whoa, that was so.
I was dramatic, and then I went under the world because we don't have any constraints on it. But yeah, you can get some appreciation. I think those are the best scores I'm going to post up.
Pretty good.
So now I'm going to switch to Long Weekend.
Actually, before you do that, you can relaunch an editor if you want to see what Jeff's pushing to build with.
Okay, so here's the before. Are we ready for the after? Let's go.
You may have to flush your cache. You might need a Control F5 or something.
No? Yes. Control F5 it. Although Control F5 doesn't work for me the way it does for you sometimes. Like, I promise you I Control F5'd.
Yeah, well, really what we need to do is fix it so that we're not really caching stuff properly. So when we push builds, they don't necessarily update super consistently. Yeah. But you can go into your DevTools menu if you hit F12 and go to the Network tab and hit Disable Cache and then refresh.
Here,
just remember to uncheck it afterward.
Sorry, you said F12.
Yeah. And then there's a Network tab. It's like the fourth option.
I see it.
And then there's a Disable Cache checkbox along the top of that tab.
Okay.
And then just check that, hit F5, and then uncheck it.
It was checked already. Is that going to be a problem?
Oh, actually, the problem is the build hasn't finished. All right, give it a second, and then we can circle back to it.
All right.
We can cut over to the Long Weekend next. We'll get there.
One of these days. All right. So back on Long Weekend. I barely play it from the front end because I'm always building the game. So it's fun seeing the names. You know what I want, Brandon?
What do you want?
A randomized button right in the middle so that I don't have to do.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Oh man, Texas Redwood.
Texas Redwood's pretty good. I don't think there are any redwoods in Texas, but that's still good. That's what they called me when I moved to the Bay Area, Texas Redwood.
I know it's pronounced Rainier because I was, lived in Seattle, but like Storm Rainier, also not bad.
It's pretty good.
Truffle Slim, Truffle Broom Twig. All right, so we'll go with that. And now I'm camping. And then if I want...
something I'm noticing, this is another cache refresh situation, because we did, I surreptitiously pushed an update just before this call.
Did you really? All right. I'll Control F5 it. Oh, I see it already. We're going to stick with California Bubble Puff. And then I will reshare, because presumably this is a different link. Oh, wait, what's that? Ignore the one with an S in front of it. Oh, you got the little snow particle treat? Look at this.
Nice.
If any of you want to jump in, you should be able to hit up that link.
Our multiplayer is not super stable, so I'm excited to get in here for a little bit.
Let's see what happens. Some Christmas trees we dropped in here, and some snow. I'm gonna poke the radio, which changes the track, and it activates. Like if you're just playing Long Weekend and you don't poke the radio, you're gonna get all acoustic jams by Giorgio, very chill, very camping. But if you turn on the radio, basically now you're gonna get some of the yacht rock mixed in, which I love. Where'd you go? Oh, you're over by the sunset here? This has the new twins, so sneak preview.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, my favorite bug that we have right now is that everybody looks the same on everybody's machine, but different on each machine. Are we fishing?
I got a crash. I think it's a multiplayer related thing though. I think we should let you demo first before we try and jump in and get committee going.
All right. Fishing right now is maximum chill because it's basically just an idle situation. We're building some more stuff into it, but you can just kind of toss your lure out there. I don't have any animation for manipulating the lure right now, but you can move it on its physics. I caught something. It's a common fish. But what will it be? And will I get it before the bonus? I don't think so. Ooh, it's going to be tight.
The string, too, is attached.
Yeah, Jordan got that in yesterday. Whoa! A lake trout. And I didn't get the bonus because we didn't catch it fast enough. Part of the reason we didn't catch it fast enough because we don't have the tools that we planned but don't have built to make it so that you're better at fishing. Oh, that's fun. So this build is live now. You can fish in Long Weekend, in the wintry version of Long Weekend. It's not particularly intuitive. You can click on the little fishing icon here. That's your fishing tool. To switch into that mode, and then you can hold down that same button to cast. Oh, a more rare fish. This is a rare fish. Oh man, gonna be close again on bonuses. Maybe I'll get the second one. Not getting this first one. Gonna be close. Gonna be close. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Oh man, just missed it. The lily koi. Good name for a fish.
Back to Hawaii fruit.
I don't think I've had lily koi. Is it as fruits go? How is it?
It's good. There's lily koi. A lot of people make lily koi jams and butters here.
Yeah.
And, there's even juice. It's pretty good.
What would you say if you were trying to describe the flavor of lily koi fruit to me? What would you describe it as?
Fruit guava-ish.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. While we're fishing, I just realized that Giorgio and I are both Batman, and that is untenable. There's only one Batman, and that's Robert Pattinson.
he's your one true Batman.
I'm trying to start wars here in the conversation. I know that Christian Bale is like the most popular Batman, but who's the best Batman? And it's Robert Pattinson.
You know, I'm gonna agree. I think he's got the best pathos. Batman needs pathos for sure.
This is a silly
you don't
detail.
like the Christian Bale throaty Batman?
I like him, but you know what? I think I like the vibe of the Batman more than I like the Nolan trilogy, which is obviously genius, but I don't know, there's something really interesting about what's going on in the world they created for the Batman. I got the bonus this time. A little extra XP. One of my favorite details about the Batman versus the other ones is clearly in all the other Batman things, when they have the cowl on, they've got some eye makeup going between their eye and the mask. But the Batman is the only one where he actually has that makeup, where he has the mask off and you see he's got all of that all over his face. It's yes, clearly. The other ones he'll take the mask off and it's not there, and I'm like, what just happened? You're lying to me.
The only thing about the Batman is that if you go in a cinema that doesn't have a powerful enough projector, like I did, you just see black and red for 3 hours and nothing else.
It's a dark movie.
It's a dark movie, yeah. And if you don't have the big super nice projector, that's all you see. Just a few things of red every now and then. That was my experience of the Batman in the movies.
Even the first Batman, like when I was little, we saw it at a drive-in. So like drive-in movie theater, and you couldn't see anything. Like
Tim Burton. I was the same thing. Same thing. I saw it at a drive-in, and it was so dark you couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
All right. I think this will be the last one. We should switch to Pogo. We're way over time.
Ooh, let me give the space to Nat again.
Yeah, let's summon
Here's
Nat.
everyone again.
The twin editor build is up now, so you get also.
Okay, so all right, so it'll get weird, and then Nat will come back.
Yeah. Good to see you again, Fred. Yeah. Happy holidays.
Oh no, I added incorrectly. There we go. There's a go. Okay. All right. Well, we'll be weird. Well, Brandon and Naka will be weird for a second while I'm going to switch back over to Twin Editor. All right. So we have our before. See if we get our after this time. It's taken longer to load.
You might need a cat refresh. If it's going there.
See. You can give it a second, just in case it's like thinking real hard.
It's working for me, so I'm guessing that you're hitting the cache problem. Try toggling and untoggling that cache button in the F12 menu again.
All right, I will. Oh, that's F11. That does a different thing. It's fun watching these in the dev menu and they do all this different stuff. All right, it definitely worked, and I'm already laughing.
My favorite thing about it is I thought the thumbnail renderer was broken. It's not actually.
It's not.
It's the problem is just that the thumbnail cameras are too high now.
Right. Right. So we do have more hairstyles, though.
Yeah, we do.
It's just a little guy. It's just a little guy.
Hairstyles for an ant.
Do you want to tell the story, Naka?
Ants.
Yeah. You want me to tell the story?
Yeah, go for it. You done.
The story is pretty straightforward. The first version of the model was very tall, and we didn't really realize how our scale was off because we were working with it. We were playing with it in Cheese Chase. Everything was fine. And then when we started working on Long Weekend, our a bunch of physics stuff that I was trying to do was off from where we expected it to be. And Jordan called out that the model was about 5 meters tall because we just built it, we built it, and like the scale had seemed like fine. I can't remember what it was, but then when we were so we're like, okay, well, let's fix this now so we're not dealing with this years from now. And it was a big overhaul. It was a huge overhaul, and now the character is smaller, so we need to make some adjustments to where the cameras are pointing here in the Twin Editor. Not a very exciting story, but it was a dev journey. For Naka and I had a fun week that week.
Yeah, it was funny because it was like one of those things that puts weird schedule pressure on everything because we were trying to get a new build out, and when that winds up being surprise, you got to mess with scales on stuff for 3 days. It can cause you to juggle your priority list quite a lot. It'll work out in the end, though.
It did. And then now, for our most recent release, our December release, Pogo Sticky. Nat, do you want to talk about Pogo Sticky and what it was like working with the engine and getting you? Are we talking about the new release? Are we?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Yes, let's do this. What's up? So I'm assuming you guys can hear my microphone.
I hear you just fine.
All right, sweet. Yeah, we got some visuals for the people at home.
Oh yeah, it's
All you people at home.
Yeah, we're streaming the game actually. I mean, if we're announcing the big new feature, we should get a multiplayer game going.
Is it live?
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, if you copy the URL, I think we can all jump in.
All right, I'm gonna do that. Let me get my.
I will mostly not play. Hopefully this works. First of all, it's gonna be good. Brandon and I played it the other day and it worked fine, but we haven't tried 4 players yet. But let's see.
All right, I'm gonna.
But yeah,
I'll post up the link.
I was really.
Are y'all able to jump in?
I see Sean twice.
I see Sean twice as well. Is that going to be a problem?
Let's find out.
All right, let's find out. Oh, I think that is this bad, Sean? And I'm like, who's live? Let's see. I'm live. Who's pinned? Is that you, Brandon?
I'm yellow, but my inputs are not going.
Okay, so you're out.
I am not live. I joined a little bit too late.
I think I'm playing against AI then. Shall we try one more time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
we-
try get a new session going.
Let's get a new session going. All right. Oh, cool. So is this a fresh session or did I jump into the same? Now I get disconnected. I'm gonna try.
Oh, there's Brandon.
I got disconnected. Are we trying that same link?
Yeah, try that link again.
Okay. All right. This looks legit. I'm ready.
Woo! Good.
We got a full house. Okay, I'm pressing the play button.
Let's go.
Oh, cool. And I got control over my character this time.
I was doing so much better when there was no other humans in here.
Oh, I'm using a virtual D-pad here.
Oh.
Okay, so Sean's yellow. Brandon's green.
I love the work that you did to highlight your character at the beginning of the match locally.
Yeah, I was like, which character am I? I have no idea. Which one am I again?
Yeah, we should do something like that in Kaiju as well. That's a common pain point in Kaiju.
Yeah. I think I crashed. Oh no, it's coming back. And I scored a point.
Yeah, froze on me I'm frozen again.
I'm frozen again as well. But
it's the time slowing thing.
Oh yeah, interesting. Maybe that doesn't network properly or something.
Oh.
Yeah, Boogie and I were both frozen for quite a while. I'm back now though.
I'm back now as well, and I'm cleaning house.
I'm doing all right myself.
Oh, I'm dead again on my screen.
Boogie and Sean and I are still in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, resurrected.
Oh, yeah. Resurrected, yes.
That's one of my favorite things that can happen in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
My son is knocking on the door. He doesn't realize I'm streaming, and I'm not going to yell at him. Go away, Dad's streaming. Oh, he heard me.
Weird 21st century thing to say.
Oh, Bogey gets the time slowing. He's got all the control here.
Yeah, oh, yeah. He's
But
in good shape.
I can't. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
But I froze up.
froze me.
Will it come back one more time so that I can finish? I'm just going to declare myself.
Yeah, just for debugging purposes. Like, and my screen's totally frozen at the moment.
I'm back.
And now
Really?
hyperspeed.
Oh, it's catching up, huh?
Yeah.
Who's green?
And me, I'm green.
You managed to score 2 points during the time stop.
I'm just that good. I'm queuing inputs like in a fight.
I'm queuing inputs because I want to know what happens.
Yeah, I'm simulating.
Actually, I'm going to declare myself the winner because I'm currently ahead on points.
So I'm the host, and that's why I see no time slowing whatsoever. It's like all in real time for me.
Yeah, it's working time for you.
Yeah.
Who's winning on your screen?
So Fogey's in the lead with 9, and Brandon's got 3.
Yeah, I'll stick with the victory there for myself. Fantastic. All right, that's all of the games that we produced this year, and it took a half hour longer to go through them than originally planned.
Actually, Nat, do you want to? We just jumped right into playing. Do you want to kind of give the pitch on Pogo Sticky? I think if we're having connection problems with Nat on the call, that may be the source of our multiplayer issues as well.
Because he was hosting.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me right now?
You're coming in and out. I think that may be why we were having some issues with the multiplayer on Pogo Sticky as well.
Let me close the Pogo Sticky then, maybe.
Yeah, maybe I can try hosting the session. Yeah, well, you'll jump back in one more time, and then Nat, if you want to, you could just like Fogey and I could play, and you can narrate, just talk us through sort of like how you came up with Pogo Sticky and what it was like building it.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, we started with the pitch. So this was after getting used to your guys' engine, which is really cool. I'm a game developer. I've been a developer for over 30 years now. I've been making games since the DOS days, and I've always made games in C and C++, which, if you're not familiar with those languages, they're a compiled language, which means basically you gotta hit compile on start compiling, and then wait for a while, like 5 seconds, 60 seconds, maybe, who knows, a while, and then you get to basically play your game, which takes a while. It takes a long time to develop games that way.
We're losing that again. Okay, you crushed me.
Did I?
Yeah, it's you and the AI at this point.
Oh, it's the AI. Somebody got rezzed.
Oh no, AI got me.
The AI is killing it right now.
Yeah, it's doing real good.
But it has one fatal weakness, which is this time slow thing I'm about to get.
Oh yeah, you're vicious with that time slow.
Should I just keep talking? Can you guys hear me at all?
I can hear you now.
You're back now, yeah, but we had a long pause of probably 30 seconds where we couldn't get you. So,
all right.
But you were kind of given the context on traditional development in a native engine and the tweaks being a lot faster for it. But I'd be curious. Well, so if, the kind of the thing we've been talking through with each of these games is like, where are we at with it, and what else would you want to do with it, if you were developing it further, that kind of thing. What have you learned from making Pogo Sticky? You up again, and we lost you again. Right.
Victory is mine.
Yeah. All right, Fogey claimed this one. Good job. All right, awesome. I think that's a good way to close it out. Foggy on top. Okay, you didn't design.
Yes, I didn't design this one.
Maybe you are just good at video games, and I just use it as an excuse that you beat me at.
All right.
Well, I'll celebrate Nat a little bit. Like, you know, we when we started the company, the motivation was, you know, build this, you know, engine and process for shipping games really rapidly and working in public with real players. And we had the opportunity to get Matt to join us and help be kind of the first person who's a solo developer making games with the engine without a lot of you know, direct intervention from our team, which was mostly focused on building Long Weekend while Matt was working on Pogo Sticky. And he's done an awesome job getting up to speed. And we've learned a lot about basically how to get the engine in shape for multiple teams, right? Like, you know, a long-term ambition here is that we've got, you know, several teams making games in parallel, and I'd love to eventually even just open source the engine so that anybody who wants to use it to make games can do that as well. And so, like, we're kind of at the beginning of the journey here, and Matt's been a big part of helping us make progress on that front. And in the process, it's made a really fun game. So I encourage you to check out Pogo Sticky with your friends. As long as your online connection's in good shape, it's key to get multiplayer going well.
Right on, y'all.
Yeah.
All right.
Pogi, any parting thoughts?
This is gonna be really hard to do next year.
We're gonna have to have a real holiday spectacular. Too many games to play.
We'll call it that. It'll be the 2 weeks holiday spectacular, too many games to play, and we'll try to go through everything that we made in the year. Or maybe we should stream way more often, which I think is part of the plan for next year. But also maybe we do like a mid-year spectacular, so we break it up. Something.
That sounds good.
We'll figure it
By
out.
the way, I also, while we were here, I pushed some scaling fixes for the twin editor, so everything's
Just-
the right size.
Just goes to show how quick you can work in this web paradigm that we've got now, and how fun it is to be making games without a lot of barriers. I kind of want to check out the fixes just to show off your real-time chops.
Well, the build's still queuing up.
Oh,
We
right.
got that catching problem.
All right.
Actually, maybe I'll summarize it. You know, a thing that has been fun about this stream for me is that it's been a little messy. Like the process is a little messy. Like and it's kind of by design, right? Like, you know, the reason we named the company 2 weeks is because we have this prototyping process where we can get a new experience stood up in 2 weeks. But it's never complete, right? Like, you know, all the games here we've shown, most of the conversation has been about what we want to do with it next. But the thing that we've been doing and trying and seeing if we can make it sustainable is shipping these things as early as possible when they're still basically just prototypes, often without like complete game loops yet. And the motivation for doing that is like, you know, we think that the core magic of a game is like right at the heart of the you know, the initial design and the sort of like, you know, core elements that you build into it. And so, you know, as developers, we've always built prototypes and at kind of this level of completion and use those to build conviction about what's working or not about a game concept and what we want to double down on. And so like this has been an opportunity to build a studio where we do that same thing but in public, and don't just get feedback from the development team, but, you know, hear from real players. And I've been super appreciative of the community of folks who have shown up to check out the games and give us feedback on Discord and help us out along the way. It's a different paradigm for making games, and it's scary in some ways, right? Like, you know, it requires a fair amount of vulnerability to put something out as early as we do and let people see it at the earliest stages and give us feedback and iterate on it. But it's also really rewarding, right? Like we're doing different stuff all the time. People are giving us really useful feedback. We're you know, able to iterate and ship updates really quickly. We're doing this stuff all independently. It's been quite a journey. And then just the other thing that I've learned along the way is you know, Foggy and I are long-term industry veterans, but first-time founders of a studio, and you know, it takes a whole community of people to get a new company off the ground like this and a new initiative like this. And that's been it's been us, it's been our investors, it's been our community, it's been our employees, it's been the folks who have helped us out on the contract basis. It's been accountants and lawyers and all this. Like, it takes so many people to make something like this come together, and that's been the best part of the journey for me, is the people that we've gotten to do this with, and that includes those of you watching this stream and people in our community on the Discord. Like, y'all are a big part of this, and I'm super thankful for it, and I want everybody to have happy holidays.
Yeah, perfect. Let's go out on that. All right, y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
More streams next
Great
year.
to see y'all. Later.
Happy holidays. Mele Kalikimaka.